The internet is once again buzzing after Megyn Kelly released a scathing commentary that has reignited debate around Meghan Markle's public behavior, drawing attention to what she described as 15 moments that left staffers, hosts, and even audiences stunned. Framed as a media critique rather than a personal attack, Kelly's exposé has quickly spread across social platforms, fueling discussion about image, privilege, and accountability in the public eye. What makes this latest wave different is not just the number of incidents cited, but the way they are presented as part of a consistent pattern rather than isolated misunderstandings. Before we continue, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell for updates. According to Kelly, the issue is not about disliking Meghan Markle as a person, but about examining repeated interactions that, when viewed together, raise questions about how power and celebrity can shape behavior. She opened her segment by stating that public figures who demand empathy must also be willing to show it, and from there, she walked viewers through a timeline of moments that she says were widely overlooked or quietly excused at the time they occurred. One of the earliest examples referenced was Meghan's reported treatment of royal staff during her early days in the UK. Kelly pointed to accounts from former palace aides who described tense exchanges, abrupt demands, and what they perceived as a lack of basic courtesy. While Buckingham Palace has never released detailed confirmations, multiple reports over the years have echoed similar descriptions, suggesting these were not one-off complaints but shared experiences among different individuals. Kelly then shifted to public-facing moments, including televised interviews and charity appearances, where Meghan's tone and body language were scrutinized. In one instance, she replayed clips in which Meghan appeared to cut off interviewers mid-question, redirect conversations sharply, or respond with visible irritation. Kelly argued that while assertiveness is often praised, dismissiveness is something else entirely, especially when directed at professionals doing their jobs. Another moment highlighted involved a charity event where volunteers later claimed they felt belittled by Meghan's remarks backstage. Kelly was careful to note that these accounts came from third-party reports and interviews, but emphasized that the consistency of the descriptions was hard to ignore. She framed these moments as examples of how kindness behind the scenes often matters more than polished speeches delivered in front of cameras. The exposé also revisited Meghan's interactions with media personnel. Kelly cited incidents where photographers and journalists were allegedly spoken to in a condescending manner, even during events meant to promote positive causes. While celebrities frequently express frustration with the press, Kelly argued that there is a difference between setting boundaries and showing open disdain, especially in controlled environments where participation is voluntary. One particularly discussed moment involved Meghan's appearance at an awards ceremony where she reportedly refused to follow established protocols, insisting on changes that disrupted organizers. Kelly suggested that this behavior reflected a sense of entitlement rather than advocacy, noting that many other high-profile figures managed to work within systems while still pushing for change respectfully. Kelly also addressed Meghan's time in the United States after stepping back from royal duties, pointing to reports from former employees of her media ventures. She referenced statements describing demanding expectations, minimal acknowledgement of effort, and a work environment that some felt was emotionally draining. Again, Kelly stressed that these were allegations, but questioned why similar stories kept emerging from different contexts and countries. Another moment that drew attention was Meghan's interaction with fans. While she is often praised for her warmth during public walkabouts, Kelly played footage where Meghan appeared to ignore individuals attempting to speak with her, focusing instead on cameras or preferred guests. Kelly argued that such moments, though brief, contribute to a growing perception problem when they accumulate over time. The commentary also revisited Meghan's relationship with talk show hosts. Kelly highlighted interviews where hosts later hinted at discomfort or surprise at Meghan's responses, describing them as defensive or dismissive. While Meghan has spoken openly about feeling misunderstood, Kelly questioned whether some of that misunderstanding might stem from communication style rather than media bias alone. Kelly did not spare the Netflix era either. She referenced behind-the-scenes reports from production crews who allegedly felt sidelined or spoken down to during filming. According to Kelly, these accounts contrast sharply with the compassionate image presented on screen, raising questions about authenticity and narrative control. Throughout the segment, Kelly repeatedly emphasized that the issue was not about attacking Meghan's character, but about accountability. She argued that public figures who speak passionately about kindness, inclusion, and empathy should expect scrutiny when their actions appear to contradict those values. In Kelly's words, criticism becomes inevitable when rhetoric and reported behavior seem misaligned. The exposé also touched on Meghan's interactions with other members of the royal family, carefully avoiding speculation but referencing moments that were widely interpreted as dismissive or cold. Kelly suggested that body language and tone, while subjective, can still send powerful messages, especially on global stages watched by millions. Importantly, Kelly acknowledged that Megyn has faced intense scrutiny and unfair treatment in the past, including media attacks rooted in sexism and racism. However, she argued that acknowledging those realities does not mean dismissing all criticism outright. In her view, accountability and compassion are not mutually exclusive. As the segment concluded, Kelly challenged viewers to consider why discussions about Megyn's alleged rudeness continue years after the incident supposedly occurred. She suggested that if these were truly isolated misunderstandings, they would have faded from public memory. Instead, they resurface repeatedly, often supported by new voices willing to share similar experiences. Since the release of Kelly's commentary, reactions have been sharply divided. Supporters argue that the exposé finally gives voice to people who felt unable to speak out before, while critics accuse Kelly of reigniting old narratives for ratings. Social media platforms have become battlegrounds, with hashtags trending on both sides of the debate. Media analysts note that this controversy highlights a broader issue about celebrity culture, where carefully curated images can clash with unfiltered accounts from those behind the scenes. Whether viewers agree with Kelly or not, the discussion underscores the power of narrative and the consequences when public perception begins to shift. As of now, Meghan Markle has not issued a direct response to Megyn Kelly's claims. Past statements suggest she prefers to focus on her work and family rather than engage in public back-and-forths. Whether that silence will help or hurt her image remains to be seen, especially as commentary like this continues to circulate.